Peace and good evening. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Foul Playland Weekend Edition. As always, I'm your foul player. Wanted to make this video regarding a defendant of the Georgia Trump RICO case, one of the 19, which is Harrison Floyd, a young black man from the state of Maryland. Harrison Floyd is being charged with a violation of Georgia RICO, nothing charge, and one count of conspiracy to commit solicitation of false statement and influencing witnesses. Nothing charged. But I'll get to the summation of what happened this weekend. Basically, Harrison Floyd is still in jail at this current juncture. But I'll get to the summation of what happened this weekend when he finally did get to sit in front of a judge. This happened via video feed. Harrison Floyd was read his Miranda rights. Second most important amongst those is the right to an attorney. And if you can't afford one will be afforded to you. I mean, the first is you have the right to remain silent, which is the most important. And if you could, shut the hell up. If you can't afford a lawyer, my advice, or never take a free lawyer, a court-appointed lawyer. Like, you're pretty much fighting with your hands behind your back. If you can't afford a lawyer, make sure you sell a kidney or something and go into court with an official lawyer. $15,000 at most, in most cases, but not at most, but in most cases, $15,000. But it'll save you a lifetime. Having said that, I am referencing this fact that he had the right, that she mentioned that he had the right to a lawyer because ultimately his bail was denied. Initially, he had a $5,000 bail. When he sat in front of this judge, he was told that his bail was denied. He was also told that he didn't qualify, or basically denied, for a public defender when he stated that he couldn't afford one. Harrison Floyd, he was told that by other lawyers that he was soliciting that this case would cost between $40,000 to $100,000, and I'm pretty sure I know why. It's because the lawyers that are probably speaking to him know that this is a politically charged case and that they would be dealing with a headache long term, being that a lot of times these lawyers are threatened to be disbarred. That's a new practice in lawfare that's happening recently, and it's all conservative lawyers that are being, in a backhanded way, similar to Judge Eastman, pretty much threatening their livelihoods. Not that I'm here to be to say that lawyers are sympathetic figures, but these are underhanded, really grimy ways, banana republic ways of conducting lawfare, and it's only done in conservative cases. I mean, you have terrorists that are afforded lawyers. You have murderers that are afforded lawyers, serial killers. But you're going after these people for these light charges. On top of that, too, there's not a terrible look because of all these 19 defendants. One of the two black defendants in this case is sitting in jail right now on some trumped up charges. No pun intended. But again, Harrison Floyd said that he couldn't afford a lawyer. He's the father to a toddler. The judge says that he was a flight risk, even though he never had a charge wielded against him, besides one in relation to this case. When the FBI came to talk to him, I guess they tried to throw like a document into his door, and he didn't allow them to. They didn't have a warrant. I mean, and it didn't seem like it was much of a case anyway. But that happened in Maryland. It didn't happen in Georgia. One case has nothing to do with the other. Nevertheless, this judge, who seemed like a yuppie bitch, said that he was a flight risk. And it's not a good look. I mean, and don't think that this is that this judge ultimately thought that he was a flight risk, and don't think that this judge was being unbiased, because you're seeing a lot of these instances where judges are practicing lawfare from the bench. And don't think that there's a chance that this judge is a conservative from the state of Georgia, because this is an Atlanta judge. I'm 100% certain she's a liberal. um, like most of the judges in New York, and these liberal people who are strictly conducting battles at from the bench are very nasty people. And liberal judges are very nasty people. Liberal judges in New York would say, I've seen tons of cases where if you sit in a courtroom one day, you'll see that these judges don't lean up when they get a chance. Recently, yeah, because they're letting liberal cities go to shit purposely. But no, in normal cases, no. A judge is gonna throw you in. A judge would go in a court case from what I've seen and lean up on like white defendants, Hasidic Jewish defendants, and then they'll come up on 3 or 4 black dudes, and it's 10 years, on charges that are regular assault charges. And a judge in my personal experience, when I went with a friend of mine to court, my friend was snickering, and the judge, it wasn't even my friend's case, but the judge called my friend to the to stand before her because she caught him laughing while she was conducting a case, and he had a necklace that had an AK-47 on it, a gold necklace, cheesy. My friend was 16 at that time, but she sent him to jail for 7 days, I believe, just for that. But and and this is a New York City judge, so this is probably a judge that's been vote blue no matter who or his whole life, and just because they don't like the way you look, like most high-end liberals, they hate black people, they hate Spanish people. From my experience, you know what I'm saying, but nevertheless, not saying that that's the motivating factor here with Mr. Harris. Probably is, or probably a bonus factor. But the main thing is he probably votes conservative and is involved in this Trump thing. $5,000 bail was offered initially, so it's not a big charge or a real serious charge. He's not a flight risk. He said he was a flight risk, even though that's another thing that he turned himself in. He flew down from Maryland to Georgia to turn himself in relation to this case. And so how is he a flight risk? So it's just a bunch of BS. But we'll see what happens. I mean, if you guys could contribute to this man's fund, make sure you're not contributing to a scammer. Because you see a lot of those. I would share a link if I could, but I'm not very online savvy, and I don't want to share something that could potentially be a scam. So give it a day or two maybe, and let things play out, and you see if you could contribute to his defense fund. But free my man Harrison Floyd. Not being done right, and he happens to be a brother as well. With that, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for stepping into the Foul Playland with me. Peace.